Peacock 45 here. Is that a pretty table or what? Well, about the table, but those firearms are definitely very attractive. At least to me, I'm sure to many of you. Yes, you already recognize, probably some of you, what you saw here. I have no idea what they are, but some of you could probably tell us. That's probably a Martini-Henry. It's probably a Trapdoor Springfield. That's probably an Enfield, okay, P53. Yeah, and that's probably a Springfield 1861. They want to mix them up. Just showing off that I know what firearms I have. Pretty bad, huh? pretty impressive. Yeah, while we have that Martini-Henry, we thought we'd do a little comparison between it and the Springfield Trapdoor, right? And it's great to have it. We've been helped by so many people, some of whom are not here today. And we're just going to shoot today. Now, this is the Martini-Henry that I got on loan from Simpson Limited up in Galesburg, Illinois. It's got to go back, but we're so appreciative to get this to try. They just do antiques and collectibles, and this one is fairly antique, fairly collectible, because it was made in, see if you can tell, yes, 1888, a very good year. Very good year. I remember it well, and I didn't mind it back then, shooting just single shots, because at the time we knew that was high tech. That was state of the art, and so we weren't walking around complaining all the time about just having single shot rifles. Well, there were lever guns. We'll talk a little bit about that, but anyway, I digress. We're going to take a look at the two old single shot cartridge, metallic cartridge firearms of the day, and they were essentially, maybe not the first, but they were the first mainline in production, adopted by the military, breech loading, metallic cartridge firing rifle. Is that a mouthful? And you can qualify that for me. I was close to being accurate there, I think. And we've had some fun with the Martini-Henry, and we always have fun when we bring out the Trapdoor, and we thought we'd just kind of compare from a historical standpoint, because around the early 1870s, okay, boys and girls, let's remind ourselves of our history. We were just recently graduating from muzzleloaders, which you saw on the table. The two of the most common, the Enfield, British, and then the Springfield, Springfield, 1861. Okay, that the Union carried for the most part, the Federals, and then this one was carried by the South, but there was overlap, of course. Whoever could get whatever. They were both 58 caliber, and they were very common at that time. And what both British and Americans did at the time, late 1860s or whatever, they started converting these muzzleloaders, because they had the technology and the know-how, and the cartridges were being developed, metallic cartridges were being developed, the early versions of them. So they started cutting out the breech chambers of these guns, both the British and the Americans, and putting a trapdoor. It was the Snyder Enfield over the Enfield, and it opened that way, and you put the cartridge in, close it up, and fire it. It was a metallic cartridge, early metallic, the Snyder Enfield. And then, of course, we did that with the Allen. There was a guy named Allen, where some of the patents were several versions of it, with their old muzzle loaders like this one. He would cut it open and make a trap door, just like the Springfield Trapdoor, just the early version of it, and they would open up like that, as you have seen. So, kind of progressing around the same time period, the big cartridges, the 4570 is what we went to eventually with the Trapdoor, of course. Actually initially with the Trapdoor in 1873. And the Snyder was this other big old bullet. It was a big old straight wall like this initially, and then it was neck down to this cartridge, the 577 by 450, later in 1871, I guess, around in there, to fit the Henry, okay, the Martini-Henry, and we'll get into that. So just want to do a little comparison. Won't keep you very late, unless you want to be kept late, and kind of ask the question, which would you rather have? If you were going to battle today, or actually in 1873 or 1875 or 1880, and you were carrying one of these, which one would you rather carry? Okay, this big old Henry, Martini-Henry, or this big old Trapdoor Springfield. Okay, and before we shoot these things, though, let me remind you again that we're really happy to have APMEX, the American Precious Metal Exchange, on board as a supporter. You can get almost anything there. It's they're the biggest online precious metals retailer, and you know, they have thousands and thousands of different things, coins, bullion, you name it. You know, John and I have both ordered from them. They're a great outfit, so we appreciate their assistance too. So which one should I shoot first? In case I will link to the video on the Martini-Henry, maybe even on the Trapdoor. If you're really new and you're not familiar with either one of these rifles, these are a piece of history, which a lot of firearms are a piece of history. And the ones that interest me, I think John too, the most, first, are the most common firearms that were used in history. Okay, and I feel ashamed of myself that I'm just now being able to bring a Martini-Henry to you all, because it was so common. It's just like the Trapdoor Springfield. This was the British firearm from like 1871 for about 30 years. And, you know, and this cartridge for a long part of that time, then they went to maybe a couple different ones, but I think eventually to the 303 British in it. But, you know, it's just a real piece of history around the world, and I'm just now getting to it. I apologize. I feel ashamed of myself. And because of that, I'll shoot it first. How's that? I think I've got a couple in my back pocket. And I was able to find some ammo, as I said in that first video. It's at $200 for a box of 20. Okay, they're black powder, but hey, y'all are worth it, so I bought it, and here we are. So I don't know if you've ever fired something. It was $5 a shot, but it's an interesting, different feel when you pull the trigger, just a little bit. All right, so you put that big round in there, got an internal hammer, and boom, and we're ready to fire it. And it's going to smoke. Are you ready for smoke? Let's do it. Let's shoot that bowling pin. He survived the last video. Boom. Yeah, do you believe it's black powder? Look at that. I'll be sure to get that brass. Put another one in here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll pick those up. I'm not, you know, in military garb, or I don't even know the proper military procedures. I don't have a belt with ammo on it. I'm just trying to breathe smoke right now. But I'm just going to fire 3 shots. It's only $15. And just get a feel for it. So let's say I need to shoot, okay? Let's just put them at the gong so I can aim at something. I'm going to load it, bring it up, and make sure I'm on target, and boom. Shell out, put another one in. They're in my back pocket. I think that was a common pouch in the military. All right, dump that out. I'll shoot it again. Bad guys are still coming at me. So you kind of see how that works. And if you were practiced, an experienced rifleman in the day, you would have done that faster. All right, let's shoot we get a little ammo. Let's do that. I think I've got some in my pocket, actually. I'll move it to my back pocket. That's my best ammo pouch. So the Trapdoor Springfield, the American rifle, we'll do kind of the same thing. So I'm not sure where to hold on the gong, but that's okay. I'm not sure much anyway, am I? Close her up, cock the hammer back, bring her up, and boom. Cock her to half cock is ideal. Case pops out, load him up. Boom, cock the half cock, case jumps out, put another one in. So that was about 3. Let's put another one through it. What the heck? Why not? Let's try the buffalo. Boom. We got a buffalo. That's appropriate for a Trapdoor Springfield. So I don't know if you could tell from watching, I have shot this probably more. I haven't shot it a great deal, to tell you the truth. But I felt like, I don't know, it felt smoother to me. I don't know, it may have just been me, you know. But so I kind of think my choice might be the Springfield. I like the way it opens up and pops the cartridge out. Let's try 3 more of these. Again, it's only money. Look. I'm so fortunate to have the support we have. Let's just do that again. I felt like this one was a little more awkward, but again, I'm probably using improper technique. And I have noticed with this one, the shell doesn't just fall in. unless you got to bring that lever down, you need a hand on the lever or something, but you can push it in like that. So let's just do that. I'll just shoot different things, but I'm just going to go ahead and shoot 3. Like some things right here. Smoke some pot. Old black powder feels good. Oh, losing my cleaning rod. I'll shoot one more anyway. You know, it feels a little smoother this time. Don't tell anybody I missed the 2-liter. Maybe it's because of the smoke. So it's empty. I'll take the cleaning rod out just to, I don't know if I'm going to shoot it again or much, but I just want to have that out of the way. So I don't know. Actually, with a lot of practice and shooting, I think the Henry might actually, or the Martini-Henry. I got Henry on my brain, don't I? Because you know, I love the Henry lever gun. The Henry might have more upside potential. I don't know. There's not a lot of difference, to be my estimation. If some of you have experience, a lot of experience, with both of them, and maybe you've even done military reenactments and that sort of thing, you've done a lot of testing yourself side by side, you've seen a lot of it, and a lot of people maybe even experimenting, you know, share that. I don't know everything. I know that's a news flash for you, isn't it? I don't know everything. I should have a t-shirt with that on it, just as I walk around, because I look really like a genius and that I would know everything, right? So I need a t-shirt to refute that. So anyway, in terms of if you were just looking for one of these old war horses, or who's neat, the black powder smoke is hovering around the house and everything, just to shoot from a historical perspective, let's say you were just wanted one, yeah, there are advantages probably to the Springfield Trapdoor, because 4570 ammo is readily available in the black powder, a little more even in black powder, and smokeless. There's a lot of replacement powders for black powder, substitutes and different things. You can get the pressures down, and 4570 is so common and popular that it'd be less expensive to shoot, okay? And that's a classic cartridge as well, as we all know. Still used by a lot of people that hunt and target shoot and do everything. The Martini-Henry, if you want to shoot the original cartridge, as you know I've been talking about, they're just expensive unless you hand load them, and then they still might be fairly expensive. You know, if you're having to buy it, you know, you're paying $200 for 20 of them. It could get pricey pretty quickly if you're going to go out and shoot a couple hundred rounds on a Saturday afternoon, right? I'll give you a clue. I think I mentioned this in the main video with this, that we had another one here, actually, a fellow viewer, Linus, and it had a problem, and he was aware of it, and it showed up on the first shot, so we couldn't use it. But I took 2 shots with it just to verify it wasn't going to work, kind of. And he's looking at it. He had tried to fix it, and I think he's going to take it to a gunsmith now because the glue didn't hold or whatever. But so then we got this one from Simpson Limited. So I fired 2 shots with the first one we had, because the ammo is expensive. I wasn't going to stand here and take 30 shots to sight it in. And then it did the same with this one. I shot 2 shots to sight it in, and it seems right on, so I was so happy. And then I had 36 rounds left from buying the 2 boxes. But anyway, yeah, getting long-winded, it would be expensive, you know, if you want to shoot original ammo, you know, especially black powder, the stuff that was pretty much like the original case. Now, I talked about in that first video, I'll link to the first video, I talked about the ammo and some of that. I probably forgot some things. If you're knowledgeable about these, you know, share your information. The Martini-Henry, I'm a jack of all trades. John and I are. We like a lot of different firearms, and I like delving into them to the point where I kind of know where they were used in history and something about the manufacture and the invention of it, and I find that interesting. But I don't nerd out, as you know, to the extent that some other people might, and be able to share more information. But it's really cool, these old single shots. It's an interesting time in history as we were moving from the muzzle loaders to this, and we're still using these big cartridges. And then they were used for a long time, and people are always asking, and bringing up, well, why in the world why were the Americans using this in 1873, 1883, 1890? Think of all the Winchester lever guns that had been around for 10, 20, 30 years. Why? And the same, for the British, that same time period. They're using these single shots. Well, part of it is the lever. And if you were going to battle, this might be a disadvantage. If you're lying down in a prone position and having to operate that lever against the ground, right? And that's one reason the 1873 Winchester didn't become the official military rifle, along with the fact it's a fairly weak cartridge, the 4440 at the time. Those are pistol caliber cartridges, so you had that going on. But it's interesting that these single shot rifles ruled the day for a long, long time. And in terms of which one you might want to think about buying just to shoot tomorrow, like I say, this one might be problematic for you, because unless you're a hand loader, and then plus they're all pretty old, and it might be, I don't know, harder to find one in good shape. I don't know. This one's not bad. I don't know, and just expensive to shoot. Okay, and one of these would probably be my choice. Okay, in fact, hey, guess what? It was my choice, wasn't it? Because theirs is so cool, and I'm an American. These are American, and interesting piece of history. And you might have discovered I love the 4570, right? So that's pretty cool. But and if you're going to battle, I don't know if you could tell anything from shooting them, or if you've shot them, but either one as a single shot would work pretty well. I'm not sure which one I'd rather have, tell you the truth, going to battle. The lever would be problematic, but that thing works pretty smoothly, and you don't have the hammer. It's when you get that thing up there, it's cocked. That round in there, pull that up, it's cocked and ready to go, and might be able to actually fire it faster. But accuracy is pretty important, right? Minor detail. So anyway, just wanted to show you the two. They're both developed around the same time period, just in different countries, right? This went into service in about 1871. As I understand, Martini-Henry, developed from the Peabody and all that. I'm drawing a blank on the cartridge. I think I even said it in the video. I did in the early video. It was a straight wall version of this, and it's what the cutout Enfield used. And it may come to me before you go away, but it evolved from that. Well, sort of did. Actually, it's kind of a different rifle, but the cartridge was similar, but it was just neck down, for this one. Okay, for the 577 by 450. Okay, Snyder. I knew it would come to me before you left. The Snyder, because that was the Snyder Enfield, and then the Snyder cartridge was more like the 4570. It was a straight wall. There's an example. I hadn't done that yet, showing you the difference. See, we all think of the 4570 on the right as being a big cartridge. Look at that. Makes it look like a little brother, doesn't it? So big old cartridge, expensive to shoot. So anyway, I just wanted to bring them out and compare them a little bit, and both fun, interesting, fascinating history associated with both. There's no rear sights on this one, I realize, and I just need to get some put on it. And just cool. I'm really happy to have been able to fire this thing. It's neat. This was my first experience with the old Martini-Henry. And now when I watch Zulu, the movie, I can relate a little bit better. That is I'll let you go in a second, but that is one of the coolest things that maybe people overlook about the history of firearms, and having been able to shoot. If you have ever fired a single action, whether it's a clone of a Colt or a Colt, you have fired one of these muzzle loaders, a replica, you fired these, and any number of firearms I could list. When you do read about it, you read a novel or you read a story about somebody shooting a Springfield 1861, or the mini ball from one, or a 45 Colt, you're reading a Western, watching a Western movie, or whatever it might be. They're carrying a couple of Colts, or whatever the thing might be. If you have fired those with real ammo, it gives you an appreciation that a lot of people just don't have. You know, a lot of folks, a lot of you listening, watching, probably have never fired a 45 Colt cartridge, you know, out of a single action, maybe. So you can read all the novels, Western novels, and watch all the movies you want, but you really don't know what it would feel like yet. You kind of have an idea maybe if you shoot, but that's the beauty of these. Being able to shoot these and takes you right back into history, and you have a deeper appreciation just for history, I think. So I'll shut up. I've rambled too much, and we appreciate you all coming around, and appreciate you supporting the people that support us, and you make all this possible. You know, you really do. And if we want to buy some $5 ammo to show off some historical firearm or hysterical firearm, whatever we want, and we don't have to hesitate so much. So it's really good. We love you. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.